Welcome guys to UEFN Academy. In this video I'll show you how to create bear trap mechanism. If we step on it, we get the UI information that you're frozen, and also after 5 seconds, or you can set it up for 60 seconds, it will despawn and disappear. So let's get started. First thing you wanna do, you wanna grab your assets. So in my Patreon you will have those assets. So this is FBX. You will need to import this one, but I prefer actually to import the GLB file. It's already then set up. It's just an easier setup. So whenever you get this file, you will have it here. You can make a folder assets, and you can just put it here. So this should work. We should have it in the scene. We can also adjust it, but first let's go into skeletal mesh and now click on make static mesh and put it here, bear trap, and we can write here static mesh, bear trap, static mesh. Okay, now we want to save it. Ctrl Shift and S to save it all, or you can go here, save all, Ctrl Shift S. And also compile verse. So we need to have our mesh. This is a very, very crucial step. If you copy this mesh, you should actually see it in your code. So now you see we have asset digest file. And now we have the static mesh here, so we can actually reference this in the code. This is a very crucial step. Don't miss it. You have to make sure that you have it. So now we can go into another folder. So I made this folder entity prefabs. Just make it the same. Just go here. I will delete this. And you can just go here, entity prefab, right click and entity prefab definition, and make it the bear trap prefab ghost. Naming here is crucial. Save it. So if we go here, we should now have here this static mesh. So yeah, if you don't have it, then you messed it up on some previous steps, but you should have it here. Next thing, we want to create exactly the same prefab, but we just want this to not be ghost, but actual bear trap prefab. So let's just create this one here. And let's put a static mesh. So now we have two prefabs. One of this will be building ghost. So this will be just basically a preview of our building. So we can make it as translucent. So if you just write trans here, you should have this red or blue. So I'll just go with blue one. So whenever we will try to put this bear trap first, we will see a ghost, a preview, which will look like this. It doesn't look necessarily good enough, I would say. So if you want to model this one, you can just take your mesh and we can start modifying it and modeling it. So you can make it as you wish, as you like. What I would like to do is actually to make it bigger, so the player just see it better. So I'll just maybe rescale it. You don't have to really spend so much time on this. Just make it so you'll like it. It doesn't really matter. I just like it this way. So I'll just complete it. So now, crucial step, we have to bake it, or we have to modify the actual static mesh. So you will need to go into bake transform. You will have here some warning that it actually modifies the static mesh. So just click accept. And hopefully now, if I go into selection, I delete this one. And if I get the prefab, So if I get the prefab, we should actually see that it's modified. Yeah. And yeah, that's about it. Next thing you wanna do, you wanna go into your ghost, and ghost should not be collidable. So disable that. Now go into the bear trap static mesh. And this is extremely crucial. Otherwise you will lose a couple of hours like I did. So make sure that collision preset is overlap all. Otherwise it won't work. We also want to add another asset, which is some kind of floor, because we need to detect where we want to put our prefab actually. So I will just import the grass floor GLB. Now I just removed the floor which we had here. So now we need to add the actual floor entity. So we need to create entity here and pick add component and add grass floor here. This needs to be your entity floor. And this is so that ray tracing detects the entity and not just the static mesh. So this floor needs to be entity. We can even rename it grass floor entity and save it. Another thing we need to do is we should add some collisions to the bear trap actually. And you cannot add just any collision. You need to do it in a particular way, otherwise it won't work, of course. Like everything in scene graph, we have to be very precise. So as you see here, I have collision. You probably won't have it. So I will remove all collisions, and now I will add box simplified collision so that we have here primitive box collision. So save it all, and push the changes. So let's get into the code right now. And so this is our bear trap component. It's a scene graph component. So we begin with onBegin simulation method. Here we are subscribing to a couple of triggers. For example, trigger enable preview, disable preview. This will show and hide our bear trap. Here, build trap trigger. This finally builds the bear trap on our map, so it's visible and it's collidable with other players. On enable preview, this is the method which starts our creation of bear trap. So this is a ghost. This will be this translucent blue ghost appearing on the scene. So here we are getting the simulation entity, which is basically the root of our scene graphs where entity lives. New ghost, here we are instantiating our prefab, which is bear trap prefab ghost. Now we are adding into simulation entity our entity with add entities method. And then we are setting up our agent ghost map. So here we have a map which defines the agent and entity, and this is nullable. So in this case, for the particular agent, we will assign the option of the new ghost. So basically agent will hold the instantiation of a ghost, of a bear trap prefab. And finally, we are calling the ghost preview loop, and we are passing our agent a new ghost. The next method is on disable preview. So here we are, whenever we want to hide the preview, the ghost. So we are getting the ghost from our ghost map, we are providing the agent, and then we are calling the method on the entity. Ghost is an entity, remove from parent. So this removes this entity from its parent. So in this case, it will be removed from the scene, because the scene is the parent, the root. And finally, here we are setting the agent ghost map for this agent to false, which automatically triggers. Here we will have a loop. We will get into this in a second, but this, when we trigger this to false for this particular agent, then we are breaking out of the preview loop. So from now on, the player won't see the ghost. It will be hidden. We're breaking out of this loop. So let's now check how the looping mechanism works and how the previewing, the blue translucent preview is shown. So first of all, when we start the loop, we are checking if the ghost is valid. So if the agent appears in this map, agent ghost map. Here we are now doing the calculations, view, location, and rotation. We are transforming them out of the modules. So between those two modules, we got Verse spatial map and we got the Unreal Engine spatial map. We need to transform them back and forth. So for this, we are using the methods from rotation and from vector, depending what we need. So for example, here we got the here we got look direction, which is ultimately all the calculations we are doing on Unreal Engine temporary spatial map modules. And then this look rotation is put into the displacement range. But here, actually, when we want to find sweep hits, this method needs us to provide the Verse spatial map. So this is another module. So to do that, we actually need to call the from vector 3 method, which transforms our vector from the Unreal Engine module into the Verse spatial map module. So here we are doing the calculations, we're getting the degrees to radians, then we are calculating look directions, we're providing the range, displacement range. So the range which will be, for which we will be checking when the collision is detected. So when we get the collision, we got the hit. So this is our ray tracing mechanism. So here we got the view location, we create the collision sphere, and here with this collision, we try to get the find sweep hits. So this is our ray trace. Here, this is the debug line. So this helps us to see what's going on and where the character is looking. Later on, we will just hide this from the code. And from this hit results, we got find sweep hits. So here we got this this array of the generator of the sweep hits. Here, for each of those hits, of our sweep hits, we extract the target component. So we get the component which we hit from this method. And now the crucial part is that we compare it to our grass floor. And if we successfully compare it, and we know that we got that this is our grass floor, this is where we want to put the bear trap, then we put the ghost position. The ghost position, we set up the global transform into the ground position here from the hit position. And then we also set up the rotation to identity rotation, which is just default horizontal 0 axis rotation. And finally, we got the last method, which is spawn bear trap. And to this method, we provide our agent. We get the simulation entity, we get our scene, and we try to find the ghost entity from the map. So yeah, here we are getting the ghost entity. And if the ghost entity is valid, then we get the global transform of the ghost entity. We create our real bear trap prefab, not the ghost anymore. So we create this bear trap prefab, we add it to the simulation entity, and at last we set the global transform of our bear trap prefab. And this makes the bear trap visible on our map from this time. So let's now set it up. So we need to create the entity. We add our component, bear trap component. We need triggers. We need 3 triggers. This entity, we can name it as bear trap controller entity. And now we assign the trigger. So enable preview, we put this one here, disable preview here, and then build trap is the third trigger. Let's now compile verse and launch the session. Now we are in the game. So with this trigger, we are enabling the ghost. As you see, this translucent blue, this is our ghost. The yellow lines, this is our debug draw line. We can disable in the code. So if we disable it, we stop the preview. We have the ghost. And now if we build trap, we got the legitimate bear trap on the floor. So now what's left? We need to add some logic. When we get onto the trap, we should be frozen. And also the ghost traps should, the bear trap should despawn after some interval. So for example, after 30 seconds, they should disappear. So let's just do that. So freezing mechanism, we should go into our prefab. We got our bear trap prefab. And here we add the freeze. Here we have freeze on collision component. We add it. Here we provide our freeze time. Let's save it. Compile. Push. In the game, when we got the bear trap, and now if we step on it, we got the frozen message for 5 seconds. After this, we can move again and the canvas is deleted. So how to make it? We've got this freeze on collision component. We've got on simulate method. Here we are looping, and the loop is awaited on the mesh component entity entered event. So here we got our entity, we get the mesh component of this bear trap, and we just await it. So we stop the execution here until we got our agent entering this mesh component. So after we got the player stepping on the bear trap, we get into the for loop. We loop through all the components and we try to get the fourth character by component. So if the component is fourth character, then we get the agent, we call get agent of fourth character, and we spawn freeze player method, and we provide the agent, the player into this method. On end simulation, here we have the, this is our fail-safe mechanism. So whenever we despawn, for example, the bear trap after 60 seconds, we want to release everything what's in this, what's holding, what's this component is holding. So if we despawn this bear trap after some interval, we want to release it from stasis, release the player from stasis, and also remove the widget. In freeze player method, we're getting the agent, and we are getting the fourth character. Then we are putting the player in stasis. Here we are creating the widget, the UI. We are adding UI to player. We are creating this fail-safe mechanism for a cleanup. So we assign those variables to a player. We assign widget, player, and character. Then when the player is in stasis, we create a sleep on our time. For this is set up for 5 seconds here. After 5 seconds, the player is released from stasis, so he can move again, and also the widget is removed, and we really remove the failsafe mechanism, and the entity, the bear trap, is removed from the scene. This is the UI setup, and this is the whole class. The last thing left is some deletion mechanism. So as you see, I have set up this to 5 seconds. After 5 seconds, the bear trap disappears. So how it's done? So how it works, we set up 5 seconds variable to delete after. On begin simulation, we spawn remove after delay method. Here we are awaiting, and then we just call entity remove from parent, which removes the entity from the simulation. How to set it up? We need to go into Unreal Engine. We go into our entity prefab, and here we need to add this component, remove delay component. So if I add it again, we have this remove delay component, save it, and there you go. So yeah, that's all for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. All those files you will find on my Patreon, the code also. Please subscribe, join Patreon, join Discord, and see you in the next video.